I'm pretty certain I'm going to short Amazon into earnings. So this is the high yield corporate bond chart on the top, indication of the direction of interest rates. And then, you can see how closely it, is correlating with these high growth parts of the stock market. So, you started to get a, downward trajectory starting in November in this high yield thing. Not really yet at pandemic levels, but on our way there to a credit crunch, a credit crisis where you get some kind of dislocation. And then now you have, very bearish trajectory in these high growth stocks. So you can see they've been tracking pretty closely. And to me, I've been looking at the IGV through the prism of that, head and shoulders. But I think, you could make a case that this whole thing is starting to look like one big top. So that just suggests that, I think we've got more room to go and perhaps a lot more room. So I've always thought 260, which is kind of where the beginning of this ascending broadening is, so we're not too far away. About 10%, but I think we've got more. Once these things get going, they tend to overshoot, but I think 260 at a minimum on IGV. And so this should be a rock and roll week because we've got all the big cap, mega cap behemoths on deck for earnings. Google, Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. So you can kind of take a look. Microsoft is already starting to show some wear and tear. We started looking at it kind of approaching this long-term trend line. So to me, earnings are just a catalyst to send things where they look like they're already going. So you can see now, could even make a case that maybe we start to sneak a hair, but we are literally at the moment of truth where you can see how Microsoft has, bounced off these levels. And I don't think we going back up again. So now if it starts clearing here, retest, I expect something like that in earnings. So imagine I will, sell into earnings or in the aftermarket. If it's higher, sell into the aftermarket. But I do think that this can't escape the fate much longer. This whole thing's starting to look like head and shoulders. And so this is a, huge inflection point. So, it's always possible to break, come back, do a whole bunch of things. So volatility is always in the cards. Whatever you guys decide to do, just be aware that anything's possible. So we've got Google's already broken its recent support. So it just recently snuck under here. Again, this could be a false breakout, but I don't know, man. All of these things are starting to show, wear and tear. It's just, this is pretty close to the uptrend line. I don't see this kind of going straight down. So I don't know, I'm sure, we could have a retest, build some space. So anything's possible. You can see that we've broken recent support on a stock that everybody was in love with just a few weeks ago. Apple is the one holdout, the one glue that's keeping this whole index picture together. And I don't know when it releases. Tuesday, Wednesday, anybody know? But it's this week. So you can see that Apple also, like Microsoft, well, Microsoft is right at this, thing. Apple, I'd say the moment of truth right there is exactly at 150. So, it looks like pretty ominous looking stuff. And then, we'll have to see if it hits there, if it bounces or what have you. So Apple's a bit tricky, but to me, I'm pretty certain I'm going to short Amazon into earnings. And I think that's for Thursday. This thing just looks like a big, bad Netflix wannabe. We know Netflix went from 700 to 200 recently. So that, patterns equal trajectory. So that is the pattern I've been looking at for a long time. This stock has been dead money for many years. You can see that if you invested all the way back in July of 2020, you're actually losing money. So 2 years of zero returns and now probably negative returns. So you've got this double top. This whole thing looks like a Head and Shoulders. And, there's one set of neckline. I think you can make the case we're there. And then this 20 hair above 2,600 is the last bastion of support. But I can imagine that earnings will be something like that. This is what we saw on Netflix last week, so why not?
So you can see, 45, it's 1.3 million.
$1.3 million short.
So popped out a profit for 118,000 there.
So you can see how this is going crazy now. You can see how the market just going nuts.
I bet like $1.6 million on this position. I'm showing right now $23,000 gain.